Ever since that first hit of the lure at the end of some lucky guy's light tackle on a remote northern lake, seaplanes have been integral to recreation and commerce in North America.
Okay, so seaplanes can get to some great fishing holes. What do I care? I don't fly one.
In addition to recreation, seaplanes provide a wide variety of valuable services. Water bombers save hundreds of lives and millions of dollars of property each year. Seaplane operators carry indispensable cargo to remote areas, providing a service that no other form of transportation can duplicate. Used for law enforcement, seaplanes efficiently patrol much larger areas than can be covered by boats. Search and rescue missions save lives every year. Our cherished natural resources are preserved and protected by pilots patrolling and working in remote locations.
The seaplanes are an integral part of what we do to collect waterfowl data. When you're working with waterfowl, you're over water, and so we really like the safety aspects of the float plane. If you have an emergency while we're over water with a float plane, you just simply land.
In many tourist spots, seaplanes bring new dimensions to the vacation experience and millions of dollars into the local economy.
I guess seaplanes do provide some valuable services I hadn't thought about. But don't they contribute to the pollution and the destruction of marine habitat?
Unlike motorboats, seaplanes have no prop in the water, no exhaust in the water. And if there's bilge water to pump from a seaplane, it's truly water, not the sludge that finds its way into the waterways from inboards.
All right, seaplanes are cleaner than I thought, but they're sure darn noisy.
Seaplanes do in fact make some noise at takeoff, though some you can hardly hear. If you think about it, lots of things in our everyday life make as much or more noise. We listen to chainsaws, lawnmowers, trimmers and edgers for hours at a time, and motorboats, traffic and motorcycles more than we'd like to. By comparison, the sound of a seaplane taking off is both rare and brief.
Well, when my neighbor takes off in his seaplane, he tackies right out to the middle of the lake, and before he turns and revs the motor and takes off, and I just never hear him, really. But I happen to look out the window, I see him, but I don't hear him. We have a lot of different types of craft on the lake. We have personal watercraft, a lot of bass boats, and they actually make more noise than any of the airplanes do when they come in.
I like mostly in living here that you're away from a lot of things. Really, it is very quiet and calm. And as far as I'm concerned, the seaplanes don't disrupt that. They add a little variety.
Seaplanes draw a lot of attention, which means positive public perception is high on the seaplane pilots' checklist. The Seaplane Pilots Association, the Federal Aviation Administration, and many commercial operators hold regular safety seminars to address the issues of both safe and courteous operations. Does that mean seaplane pilots are all perfect? Of course not. But it does mean that as a group, they are highly trained, courteous,
try to stay equal distance from the shorelines to keep the noise away from the residents,
and always aware of their surroundings.
Kenmore's been operating on Lake Union and Lake Washington since 1946, 54 years. It's a real concerted effort on the part of the pilots and the management to work with the community on an ongoing basis. And we established a noise agreement with the Lake Union community about 15 years ago that set up traffic patterns and noise curfews. And today we've moved beyond that to technology. We've looked at retrofitting our fleet to the quieter turbine aircraft. 15 years ago we moved to the three-bladed propellers, which were 50% quieter, and then of course the turbine aircraft are 50% again quieter.
Well, I guess seaplanes do provide some indispensable services. They're good for the environment. And that noise issue, it's a little overblown, I guess. But aren't they downright dangerous?
Safety is easily the first concern of all pilots, and seaplane pilots are no exception. Over a 16-year period through 1998, there were more than 100,000 boating accidents in the U.S. and less than 300 seaplane accidents. Of those accidents, only 3 involved anyone outside of the seaplane itself. The aviation community has set extremely high standards for training, operations, and discipline to make flying as safe as possible. The FAA requires that pilots receive extensive and recurring instruction and pass rigorous tests of knowledge and skill. Additional instruction on topics such as seamanship and right-of-way rules is required to fly seaplanes. Seaplane pilots use their bird's-eye view of traffic on the water to adjust their approach and landing to avoid boats and other obstacles. This unique, lofty perspective makes safe landing areas apparent on even the most congested waters. Seen from the surface, these same clear areas appear very crowded.
It's been my observation that the seaplane pilots have always been very responsible. I've really not ever observed them doing anything that I would consider hazardous to my children or to the boaters or swimmers on this lake.
Kenmore operates in a number of busy harbors. Lake Union, Victoria Harbor, Friday Harbor are busy harbors with boating, lots of boating activity. We don't expect the boats are going to move for us or even look out for us. The pilots are trained to do this. This is part of their training from the beginning.
Lake Union is fairly singular in Pacific Northwest because it's located right next to the downtown business community. During the summer months, all year round, as a matter of fact, we have quite a bit of recreational boating activities. Also on Lake Union, we have 2 commercial seaplane operations, Kenmore Air and Seattle Seaplanes. Tim Brooks, who works for Kenmore Air, reported to me that they have 30,000 takeoffs and landings every single year. We've never had any difficulties whatsoever with either company.
All right, I admit I was wrong about seaplanes. But I don't want them swarming all over my place.
Of the 600,000 licensed pilots in the United States, only 30,000 have completed the extra training required to fly seaplanes, and only 5,000 actively fly seaplanes. Furthermore, the vast majority of their flying is, by nature, in remote areas. Seaplane pilots have always worked hard to fit into the realm of conventional reality, while at the same time doing their very best to fashion their next escape, trying to find that perfect combination of their love and need for flying and the best interests of the community. Pilots are highly trained in safe and courteous operations. Their equipment is inspected and maintained to a high standard of excellence, controlled by the Federal Aviation Administration. And you will probably never see a seaplane pilot, or any pilot for that matter, operating under the influence of drugs or alcohol. The training, the regulations, and the clear judgment of seaplane pilots do set them apart. Hopefully, in the future, all decisions made regarding the sharing of waterways with seaplanes will be made with the same consideration and knowledge that seaplane pilots use every time they call out,
"Clear."
The Seaplane Pilots Association has established itself as the go-to organization for information about seaplane operations and community relations. We'd like to invite you to learn more about our organization and how much we can contribute to the advancement and enjoyment of water flying, not only for pilots, but for the community as well. So please, log on to our website, write or call.
One of the biggest concerns people have is the unknown. They really don't understand the operation, whether it's airlines, balloons, seaplanes, or whatever. In order for them to make a real determination as to whether or not it would be compatible with their location and their community, they need to talk with the Seaplane Pilots Association, talk with the local operators, and see what's done in other locations. I think you'll find out in most places in the United States, it is a compatible experience for both the homeowners, the cities, the municipalities, and the seaplane operators. as long as they work together, it can happen safely.
So I say I live on Johns Lake. They say, "Oh, you live close to that fellow with the seaplane," you know. And yeah, I do. You know, it's a nice thing.